Hello and welcome to a lesson from Mr. Mack-Poole. And what we are looking at today is how did the Weimar Republic recover the Locarno Pact? This is part 2. So looking at the Locarno Pact, here we go. So this is Gustav Stresemann. Now he represented the nation of Germany, and to be precise, the Weimar Republic. His date of birth to date of death is 1878, and he tragically died far too young in 1929. He died of a heart attack after a very hectic 5 years as foreign minister. Now, Gustav Stresemann was the chancellor very briefly in 1923, but he was most influential as a foreign minister. But don't be fooled because he wasn't the chancellor, which we would think of as a prime minister type role. He was really calling the shots on the international stage. Now, his fears on the Locarno Pact was that France would not leave the Ruhr, which would be an economic disaster for Germany and a political disaster for Europe. And what did he desire? He desired stability, peace, and trade. And what you're going to see is that there's a theme there, that France and Britain both desired the same things. This is Aristide Briand. Now, Briand was the Prime Minister of France. Yes, he represents them. And remember, they felt like they were the greatly wronged party in World War I. They were invaded, and France is a very agricultural nation, which means it's dependent on its farming economy. And much of its farming economy had been ruined by the Germans. In their invasion, the trenches were dug in French farmland. So as a consequence, the French had demanded a lot of reparations from the Germans. And this was ruining the German economy, and it was leading to a tense situation. So obviously the French in 1923 occupied the Ruhr because of the non-payment of reparations. This led to the hyperinflation crisis in Germany. So this could not happen again. So in the Locarno Pact, he really fears German aggression and non-payment. I should say payment, not payment, but there we go. Shall we just change that now? Shall we just alter that? I think we shall. Let's make a little... See, we're always on top of literacy in histoire. Okay, in history. Okay, lovely. So a non-payment of reparations. So he wanted to ensure that reparations were paid. Okay, but he desires stability, peace, and trade. And this he has in common with Gustav Stresemann, which means that he can work with him. And last but not least, we have Britain being represented by Austin Chamberlain, the son of Joseph Chamberlain and the brother of Neville Chamberlain, who would become the future Prime Minister of Britain. His dad was Secretary of the Colonies. But anyway, I'm going on a big tangent. He represented Britain, and he was the Foreign Minister. Now, he feared poor Franco-German relations, poor relations between France and Germany, and a continuation of the French cordon sanitaire, which is basically the French policy of not really negotiating with the Germans, which really led to World War I. And in the Treaty of Versailles, Germany wasn't invited. So again, they weren't negotiated with. And he desires stability, peace, and trade. So what you see is these three great powers come to the table and negotiate together because they all fundamentally want the same thing. And this is why the Locarno Pact is signed, and it's a great success.